Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. In this video, I will review journal. The title is EFL Learners, Learning Styles and Their Attributes, and the author is Lu Chong-cho. Okay, next to the overview. Much of this research is centered on fundamental questions such as what makes a good language learner and why some students develop proficiency more quickly and easily than others do. One of the reasons is that there are quite large individual differences in language learning in terms of gender, age, social status, motivation, attitude, talent, and culture. What works for one learner may not work for another. There is a fact that students receive and understand information in different ways. Some prefer to study individually, whereas others prefer to interact with their peers. Some enjoy listening to a lecture, while others like to do more experiments. That the different way in which learners retrieve and process information are collectively referred to as learning styles or learning preferences. While EFL researchers and teachers in several countries have discussed many things on the topic of the different characteristics of learners in learning English, and language learning styles have become one of the most popular aspects that researchers focus on. Little attention has been paid to this area in Vietnam. To that, only a few studies have been found. This study aims to explore students' perceived learning style preference as well as whether there is a relationship between language learning styles and variables such as field of study, length, gender, age, language learning experience, and level of English proficiency. And for the methodology, the researcher used 172 students, 104 girls, and 68 boys from 10 intermediate EFL classes at the Foreign Language Center of the University of Social Science and Humanities in Ho Chi Minh City, USSH, or HCMC, invited to participate in this study. The median age was 20 to 18 years, ranging from 16 to 40 years. Participants varied widely in the length of their learning experience. This researcher is a questionnaire, the most common method of collecting survey data. The perceptual learning style preference questionnaire began with a brief description of the 6 learning style models developed by Reid, especially for foreign language learners. The questionnaire asks that students' preferred learning style based on how students learn best using the perception, visual, auditory, kinesthetic, and tactile preference, and to social aspects of learning. 30 questionnaire statements were divided into 6 groups, each of which respected a particular learning style. The first group, visual, consists of statements 6, 10, 20, 27, and 29. The second group, auditory, includes statements 1, 7, 9, 70, and 20. The next group, kinesthetic, includes statements 2, 8, 15, 19, 26. Statements 11, 40, 60, 22, and 25 are about tactile learning. Group consists of items 3, 4, 5, 21, and 23. The final learning style individual include items 13, 18, 27, 28, and 13. Respondents are expected to indicate how much they agree with each item on a scale from 1 to 5. Each number records certain methods such as 5 strongly agree, 4 agree, 3 undecided, 2 disagree, and 1 strong disagree. A high score on the scale indicates a positive opinion, and vice versa. A low score on the scale indicates a negative opinion. And conclusion from the result of the analysis and discussion show that there are several significant relationships between student learning style, preference, and variables such as field of study, length of their study, gender, age, language learning experience, and level of English proficiency. Although it is said that traditionally EFL teaching in Vietnam has been dominated by teacher-centered, book-centered grammar translation method and an emphasis on mechanical memory, resulting in a number of distinct learning styles. With visual learning being one of them, the study proves that visual and individual are only favored by a small number of EFL students. This suggests that EFL students show a strong preference for more communicative activities that allow them to engage in physical movement. It seems that students are increasing access to active learning and expressing negative attitude toward passive learning or learning. It suggests that teachers should combine several learning styles together to make the lesson more lively and interesting. For example, before asking students to discuss, a group teacher can let them stand alone to find out the answer, or before organizing some games or auditory activities, the teacher can provide visual instruction or visual aids to help learners learn better when given activities that are not appropriate for their type of learner. Teacher needs to clarify the objects of each learning task, especially those that are unfamiliar to learners of some types of learners. Okay, I think that's all for me. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy this video. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.